A few years ago, during the height of a lot of social justice things and Black Lives Matter type stuff, you were speaking about Colin Kaepernick,
right,
and protesting, and he at the time was speaking about injustice and how Black people were oppressed in America, and you kind of slighted that whole situation. I know you got a lot of kickback from people calling in, tweeting you. I was tweeting you all these type of things, but I, of course, people felt the way about what you were saying, especially Black people, because we've been oppressed in America.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but you've since then you've taken that back and you realized that you were in error when you said that and you changed.
Yeah. What I said, what was interesting is at the time I wrote like 5 hot takes a day or something.
Right.
And what I actually said was I was supporting, of course, Colin Kaepernick should kneel. Of course he should express his opinion.
Yeah.
What the hell are we about as a country?
Right.
In passing, I said, because he had said, America oppresses Black people. And I said, it's not the official policy of America to oppress Black people. It was actually a semantics argument I was making. Like, I 100%, even then, believed, of course, that Black people are oppressed, have historically been oppressed, and are still oppressed. But I was just taking issue with does America oppress Black people, sort of like it sounded like China oppress, you know what I mean? Like, it was a stupid thing to say because the truth of the matter is I've always been on that side. I mean, it's not, of course, it's self-evident that America has first enslaved Black people, and then after that was over, institutionally oppressed Black people.
Right.
I mean, you don't have to. I was an American history major, and it only even began as a policy matter to start to change in the 1960s, and even today. So honestly, I just, it was a stupid semantics sentence that I wrote, but I've always been, and it infuriates me that even now I was having this argument with someone. Someone was saying well, when will the debt be paid? This is a white guy that I know. He said, when will the debt be paid? And I said, it's not about paying a debt. It's about understanding that the world exists in this country that we created as a country. We created this unequal system where Black people are poorer and sicker and don't live as long and don't have as much money and don't have as much inherited wealth and we created that. And so let's, as a society, figure out how to fix it.
Right.
So it's not just the moral debt. There's that part of it too. It's just like we created this. Let's figure out how to address it. And what's depressing to me is whether it's you're looking at the Supreme Court, which is getting rid of affirmative action or whatever else, there is a refusal on the part of people who look like me to understand that this was all, this is all the product of what has happened over the last 400 years in this country.
Yeah. Do you think that working and living in a city like Memphis for the past 20-something years, do you think that's how has that affected how
it's honestly, it's helped. It's affected me, of course. I mean, you live in one of the poorest cities in the country, and you see it. Honestly, though, like I remember, law school helped me.
Right.
Like when I went to law school, I thought affirmative action was BS, and I remember sitting in a constitutional law class led by Larry Tribe, who's a great constitutional and I'm like, yeah, no, I get it now. I get it now. So it's a process, I think, of learning about it. And I mean, it is funny. Like people accuse me of being liberal because I'm liberal. I mean, it's true. But more than I was when I worked for a judge when I was a law clerk. I worked for an incredibly conservative judge, James Buckley, who was William F. Buckley's brother. So I am much more liberal now than I was then, and I think some of it is just looking around. Like if you look around and you're honest with yourself,